Hello. Hey, did a little more tanking with my DK this weekend. I still got plenty to learn, but I am getting a little more familiar with these dungeons and where I need to use my rotation cooldowns throughout everything. But here we got a Cinderbrew 10, and I did some good things in here, and I got some things I got to work on. But I thought I'd go through the whole run, give a little commentary. This first room is pretty tricky. It's where you can make or break or set the tone of the run. So doing pretty heavy pulls here. We're going to use hero on first pull. Taking big damage though. One thing is that circle that goes out, our healer can cleanse one, but they can't cleanse the second one. So you can see I threw anti-magic zone on the second one. Taking a ton of damage from the hired muscles there, so pushing through my cooldowns. But cooldowns are back up. We're talking about vampiric blood and dancing rune weapons, so I'm gonna grab a nice fat pack here again. Looks like we had an aggro pull there because I don't quite have everything. That's right. You see Chewie's patrolling around the room there, so always got an eye on him. If he adds in while you're mid one of these fairly large packs, then you have a tough time. Still taking a ton of damage, of course. You can see in my threat plates, I've added in my profile markups for all the mobs in the different dungeons here in Season 2 that need to get interrupt. They'll be highlighted in pink. Helps a little bit keep track. So it looks like we've got 3 deaths so far, which is just not uncommon here in this first room, but at least 2 res right near the entrance.
My emissary brings you power. Take it.
Let's see, I don't think there's much trash left. Oh, just one guy there. Oh, we're gonna grab Chewie here.
It's too far away.
And I'm probably gonna grab that other mob over there too. Oh yeah. Probably should have had Death and Decay down there, but I'm sure I'll get it down here. Or not. Like I said, I'm finding I'm using a lot of the global cooldowns to try to get some runic power-ups and get that blood shield full. Now you definitely want to have a Death and Decay down all the time. Yeah, it's pretty good though. So yeah, 3 deaths first room, but that's not too bad. Now for this boss, he's dropping stuff all over the room. So there's another place where I probably could have used yes, advance. So if you take him the first time here to the center of the room, so he's dropping all his glop here. That way we're still going to have paths to get, take the beers out to the tables.
Time for happy hour. Where's my drink?
Of course, what you do here is go stand by these guys until someone takes your beer. And it's a little tricky. Now, I can see now I'm looking at the video, yeah, I still got a beer in my hand, but it was actually a little unclear. I was still carrying, so I didn't think I had one, so I'm running back. But that's actually, I could have dropped it off at that guy to end the phase. It's a little tricky because even if you pick a beer up off the table, sometimes the guy at the bar can say he needs a drink, and then you'll immediately pull the drink off of you, and then you go running out to the tables not knowing that you don't have a drink. That's alright. Just something to watch for and get used to. Got kind of tight there, so I ended up going along the wall with the boss, but that worked out because we can go down the other side of the room now when he comes back out. Only part's a little tricky here is getting close to these guys with drinks.
Another one.
Alright. So yeah, we actually have plenty of clear space over here. I don't think that was part of my plan, but it worked out just fine. Oh, I am playing with the Mythic Plus Deathbringer spec. Seems to work okay for me.
Are you here to help?
Alright, first boss down, and not too bad. We're still at those same 3 deaths, so our time is not horrible.
And now Goldie Baron Bottom is CEO of this joint.
Looks like our overall DPS might be a little low. So in this hallway, there's plenty of things to watch for interrupts. And then these guys in blue, so blue is the marking on my threat plates. It shows things that have frontals. So keep an eye on mobs that are going to cast things you got to move out of. Of course, after those guys charge, you get the brew drops, which you gotta pick up. They don't eat people.
My emissary brings you power. Take it.
I do have a champion level a tomb trinket, though still not exactly sure that I min-max it properly. That's alright. A little bit tricky. You got the double guys there. I think I was thinking about pulling in the next pack, but I thought, well, you know what? Maybe that's what happened. And looks like they added it anyway, which is alright. We got a little DPS into that flavor scientist. He can be pretty dangerous too.
A willing sacrifice has been prepared.
That's one thing I noticed with the, especially if you got double charges going off, don't forget about the drops, the brew drops that go spawn every time they hit a wall. It's a little late picking those up off the healer. Alright, so this one will pull that pack here around the corner, line of sight them in.
Too hot. The mead will be substandard.
Tends to work out pretty good to concentrate them in one area for the DPS.
Cinderbrew was my personal directive, my passion. She's ruining everything.
You can definitely get some pretty decent damage into packs with Exterminate Reaper's Mark. So I'm pretty sure I'm not min-maxing that as perfectly as I could.
My
I like to pull in the next pack though. Oh, I got stuck on the wall there.
take
Did notice watching this over, I think my camera angle is too far back or distance. I seem to have the charge, so here we go. Actually had a lot of mobs all over the place there. I think because I was trying to deal with that charge. So, A-bomb them, get everything condensed nice and neat. Only took to the end of the hallway, but at least that time I predicted the brew drops. Got a death and decay down. Now here, it's not the end of the world, but it could have been risky to clear all these packs first. Nah, that's a lot of damage. So I think you might actually be better off just picking up two and then taking the one that's on the left of me there into the other pack instead of taking all three at once.
my emissary brings you power. Take it.
Never forget how powerful our death and decay is for yanking mobs that are casting stuff. But see now the boss is spawned, which is technically okay. Unless someone screws up and throws a delivery over there and pulls the boss. Under my feet are weak auras, just kind of reminding me when things are off cooldown. You can kind of see throughout this run so far. Oh, those things don't hit, just get hit automatically at cooldown, but it's pretty close. And the nice thing about being a tank is, of course, you have control over the pacing of the pulls, so
Been prepared.
I want to try to take advantage of dancing with a weapon, vampire again. Alright, pretty clean. We got last pack in here. Looking at the time on the clock, we're actually a little bit behind. I have seen some groups maybe skip the one in the corner that was right before this one. As I haven't tanked this one a ton, I wanted the whole room for space.
Elemental made of mead. Oh,
So of course on this boss we got to watch out for not letting any of those globs that come up get to him. That's really bad news. It's a shield. Extra damage goes out. It's more than likely a wipe. Now if you look at those puddles he's throwing out, the ones that were red, not yellow, that's where the brew drops are going to be coming up from. So as I can during this fight, I will try to hit them with chains of ice while still dragging the boss backwards. Which is good. I was keeping an eye right there, make sure nothing was close. And our DPS took care of that batch of brew drops just fine. Those brew drops come back to life, and then he's going to spawn new brew drops too, so that's where the fight can get a little tricky. But I'm watching for the red circles. I kind of saw a path. I go this way. Hey, I pull the boss away from all those. And while I'm not a huge DPS, my DPS is not on the brew drops. Try to help out where I can, like throwing death and decay. Help get a little damage and slow those guys down. We're kind of back to where we were originally taken. So there's usually at least one brew drop that comes back to life, kind of by itself. Through chains of ice on it. I actually got a lot of brew drops out right now, so try and keep the boss nice and clear. And you can see all our DPS over there working on him. Not through death and decay to help out. And anti-magic something looks like. This one I was a little worried because there's that brew drop right there. I did get chains on it, but I'm going to purposely swing right so that boss hugs the wall. And it actually worked out okay. Thank goodness. There we go. So that boss is down. Did feel to me, I remember thinking this, that we are behind the clock quite a bit. Now we got one more boss to kill and then it's final boss. But we have a whole hallway full of a lot of bee mobs and stuff. So here I'm already thinking, well, we don't have a lot of time, so the next few pulls are pretty aggressive. Thrown Reaper's Mark at the start of that pull, but I didn't pop my Dancing Rune weapons. I was waiting for Exterminate procs to come up. Get a little more out of that. That was a pretty fat pull, which is good. That's what we needed. that on Purgatory, and that is my fault because I was trying to gather mobs, but I went around the corner, almost line of sight. Pretty sure I line of sighted my healer there. That's okay. I think so far it's the only Purgatory pop, and that's not the end of the world. That's what Purgatory's there for. Maybe if that doesn't pop up every now and then, you're just not pulling enough. Honey Volley just went out there, and I hadn't gotten over to that Purveyor quick enough. Though it looks like my interrupt was on cooldown anyway. But I could have used a death script to interrupt that. Technically, though, I think we're missing. I guess I hadn't looked at the interrupts along the way. I'm not sure if everyone is interrupting as much as they could be. That Bazooka you can interrupt with a stun or a death grip. So we're actually chewing through this hallway pretty quickly, which is what I wanted. We're need a couple minutes here. Here, there's worker bees, and maybe they always do that, but I'll spawn at once, and they nuke me pretty hard. But I was slightly more aware of line of sight, so I made sure I didn't go around a corner there. I actually knew those two mobs were behind me and would pull in, but just waiting just a little bit so we can work on those other mobs a tiny bit first. And I was pretty pleased with that. We got through that hallway at a good pace, I think. Looks like Hunter's Pet may have brought in extra mobs there, which is not uncommon. That's okay. So we got a big barrier up. I think right there I got stuck on something and I couldn't move out of that stun. It doesn't look like there's anything on the ground.
My emissary brings you power. Take it.
But our healer did a great job of keeping everybody up. Alright. So this boss, of course, I tried tanking it a couple different ways, and I watched some other tanks. And it does seem to work the best, just kind of keep him not dead center of the room, but more into the room. Then when you get the marinade, just run out at about 3 seconds, drop it off. And go back in the middle so you can pick up some of these B-ads, so your DPS can break the barrels. And that's really kind of the rhythm of this whole fight for the tank, because you're constantly going to be getting those honey marinades. Try to get a little aggro on the bees. Yes, I can swear there's something if you're right next to the wall you're getting stuck in. So I was trying to move back out after dropping that marinade.
A willing sacrifice has been.
So I think I will not get right up next to the wall. Those, though I'm looking at those puddles, that's pretty good drop there. Looks like my Death's Advance already on cooldown, but yeah, it's a good place on that Fluttering Wing too. Though maybe not, because maybe you need to, you're out of position and you need to move and get these dropped off. So even though we can use Death's Advance to counter a lot of the movement stuff here in Mythic Plus, there are enough other things going on, unlike a raid, right? Channeling one mechanic at a time or two. There are other things you might want to use Death's Advance for here. Looks like we finally got far enough over to pull that pack of bees, which is
We should use them to make a beeline to Goldie's office. Come back to the task.
but pretty good. We had to go. That was a pretty aggressive last third there, but we're going up into the last boss here with 6 minutes, which is not going to be a 2 chest, but should be able to time.
My prototype and my beekeeper. And now you're riding my bees like some nature-loving weirdo. I guess I'm gonna have to.
And it could be. We'll look at the end of the run here so I can see overall damage. That's not something I actually keep on my details throughout the run. It's not something you directly have control over, right? But it is something to good look at the end for recap. Oh, I guess I haven't mentioned, but these are all guildies in the run, and we are on Discord, though I've excluded Discord from the audio in this one. So for this last boss for the tank, mostly about kind of looking around a little bit and then positioning yourself so it does that frontal. You can take out good chunks of barrels and in particular the big barrels. Kind of looking around already. You don't want to be swinging around that frontal on big arcs. You'll kill your DPS if you do that. So if you can kind of plan out where you're going to go next in the position. Now you don't need to not aim it at a DPS, but you do need to aim it and park so they have time to get out of the way. Of course, there's pretty good damage going out here, so I dropped my anti-magic zone. And I waited after that was over so I could pick up our DK that went down. So same thing, kind of aiming myself. I'd seen the big barrel, which, did I not hit it? It looked like I hit it, actually. That's the one I was kind of aiming at. Sorry, I see stuff behind the desk, so. So as long as you move it to where you want it very quickly, or you're already facing that way, then your DPS will have time to get out of it. Now this is where a Death's Advance might have been good. So I'll remember that next time I do this boss. Not actually a lot that we need that burst of speed to move to. So may as well use it to negate that pushback. A bunch more bombs out. I think at this point, someone was calling out, we actually didn't need to break barrels because the boss was low enough. But I do think we were all kind of auto barrel breaking mode. It's not the end of the world. There's always going to do mechanics, though. Whoa, that's a lot of barrels at once. Looks like everybody survived, though. Hey, and successful runs, and that's really what counts at the end. So looking over, looks like I did some okay healing that run. More stuff I stand in, the higher my healing goes. And oh, I did a good job with my interrupts. That's good. And yeah, maybe DPS is that wasn't bad. We had enough DPS to do this, but that's why I think it took us a little longer to get through some of those packs and sections and bosses. But hey, a key timed is a good key, so yeah, it's a good fun run. Hopefully, if you watched all the way to the end here, if you've been tanking dungeons or starting to tank dungeons and looking for tips, hopefully there's some things you learned along the way or learned what you don't want to do along the way, because of course I'm still learning too. So that's why we run these things, though. The more we run these, the better we get at them, and then the more successful our further runs are. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one.